Welcome back to the Sort of Truth podcast, the alcohol-fueled, chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of Truth series with a keep full of craft brew on the side. Just a monstrous, magical place that stores all your beer at the perfect temperature. It's just like, you could lock me in, and I would be fine with that.
Well, yeah, that's like the shit of dreams.
I'm never coming out. You can't make me. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and on this episode we are getting into Chapter 35 of Blood of the Fold.
That's right, we are. We're not the only people getting into some mischief. Richard is trying to make his way into the keep.
Surprise!
Yeah.
The thing that they were all talking about him probably doing for any number of reasons he's doing.
And what made it sound like he probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. No,
but
well,
he is.
He shouldn't. He knows they're on their way now. He should wait.
That's true. But they all came to the consensus that he was definitely going to try. And that's why they were so worried. So here we are outside of the keep. Richard, there are 3 Mord Sith. It doesn't name them right away, but it is Kara, Berdine, and Reyna.
Yeah.
That's who's with him.
His 3 main.
His 3 mains. And then he's got Ulick and Egan, the 2 bros. And they are all standing at the entrance to the Wizard's Keep. Not actually like the entrance, like the door. It's the entryway, right? There's a gate, there's a path, there's a bridge. There are some more things before they, get inside.
Yeah, they're in front of the castle right now, basically.
Right. There are 500 men with them, right? Richard, we talked about this before. Richard is going to have, his people when he goes places, because he's the Lord Rawl. It's just kind of the way to, security, right? So he's got 500 guys who decide to stay on the opposite side of the bridge from the keep, because the keep, well, it looks fucking scary. There's bridges going from towers and random staircases. It almost makes it sound like the Hogwarts castle, but even more badass. They don't want to go anywhere near it because that's magic, and they deal with steel.
They're like the friend in the group that's like, we need someone to stand watch, right? We'll stand here and stand watch. All 500 of us will stand here and stand watch.
Not even the getaway driver. He's like, no, I'll just let you know if something's wrong, and then I'll disappear. But Richard, right? Richard's fucking scared too. He doesn't know what's in here. I think it's interesting. He knows that Kahlan grew up here. Mm-hmm. And yet, he's terrified to go inside. But, Kahlan lived there. How bad could it be?
Well, when Kahlan lived there was a million fucking people running the place and
That's
doing
true.
Stuff. And this is totally different. Things have changed a lot since Kahlan was a kid. There was numerous people walking through the keep and keeping it alive then. There's not even one person there anymore.
Yeah, there's no person at the desk that he could go to and be like, hey,
there's no help desk.
Trying to find some information on this. Where would I go?
Yeah.
It's just abandoned. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But look, he's freaked out too, but he doesn't want his men to see that. So he just puts on his big boy pants, slaps on a brave face, and heads up.
Well, yeah, you can't suggest that we're gonna go into the big scary place and then on the way up there be like, guys, this is really dumb, right? We shouldn't be doing this.
But actually, you guys go first.
Yeah.
That would be great. He does remember Kahlan telling him that most of the shields inside the keep are just to keep the curious out. And once they pass the portcullis, it feels like they're surrounded by warm spring air. Now, Jade and I had a conversation earlier about what a portcullis was. I apparently had no idea what I was talking about, and she clarified that. So Jade, do you want to explain what it is and why it's weird that they were all able to walk past it?
Well, it's the gate. Okay, when you picture a castle, it's that big steel gate that raises up and down in the archway there. It doesn't go up and down. It's not like the drawbridge.
The drawbridge, right.
Right. It's a steel gate that does. And so that's why when I heard the word portcullis, I was like, why are we mentioning that? Because normally, if you were to leave your castle or, want it protected in any type of way, you would shut that.
Yeah.
Like, that's first line of defense, right? So the fact that they just walked by it, I was just like, what?
If you wanted something to be secure, yeah, you would have closed that down. But it's like a fence, but it's like a guillotine. It slides down, straight down, right?
Yeah, it's on, like, tracks on either side of the doorway there.
But yeah, so if somebody had left and wanted this place to be locked down, it should have been down.
Shut the gate!
But it was up.
Yeah.
So what? Is somebody inside? Or are they just like the parents in Home Alone? He forgot to shut the garage. Yeah. It's just one of the things? I don't know.
Like, what?
But so while Richard is walking past the portcullis, even though now it feels all nice and warm and springy.
Inviting.
Remember, they're in Aidendrill, and the Confessor's Palace is cut into the mountains, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, not really. It's in front of the mountains. We talked about that. But the Wizard's Keep is definitely in the mountain.
Yeah, in the mountain. It's cut out of the mountain.
So they're up there, way up high.
And it's winter.
Yeah, it's winter. So there's ice, there's snow, there's, like, it's cold.
Weather.
Yeah. And then they get past this gate, and it feels really, really nice. That's a magical touch. But even so, Richard feels the need to put on his Mriswith cape. Because he must be sufficiently freaked out at this point. Right?
I felt like it was a combination of being freaked out, and also he's starting to get comfortable with the cape so much that he's leaning on it. He leans on his sword a bit, right? But it as a comfort thing here.
Well, I think there
like
he's actually just checking to make sure it's clear.
Right.
Sorry.
This he seems to be like a security blanket almost, wanting to wrap it around himself. Oh. And I don't know, almost like becoming drawn to having to have it. Like, I don't want to call it an addiction, but he's starting to want to.
Well, yeah, he's relying on that.
Yeah.
I love the picture of Richard reaching into his pack and just pulling out a security blanket when he's freaked out and being like, "You guys don't have one too?" It's not weird. Anyways, they take a stepping stone path to the main door. Now, this is no normal path. The rocks along the edges are rolling like they're waves. So the stepping stone path is in, like, gravel. Like, it's like there's rocks all around the stones that they're stepping on. What we're gonna have by the fire pit. It's like a whole bunch of crushed gravel, kind of on larger stones that you can step on.
Yes, I'm assuming larger, though, than, like, pea gravel. Like, they're, like, rocks.
Yeah,
yes. Yes, and so
bigger,
they're, like...
scarier looking.
Yeah, and it turns to, like, water with shit underneath it, is what it looks like while they're standing.
Yeah, it looks like there's a big, terrible beastie in there.
Yes.
And that anybody who steps off the rock is going to die, or at least they don't know. Nobody knows. Now, Richard admits he has no idea what's going on either, but it looks bad, and so maybe we should just stand in the middle of the big step, like the pathway.
Best just to be safe.
Yeah, let's just avoid the edges and move quick. I guarantee you, if those 500 guys had come this far, at least one of them would have been like, "Oh, just step on the rock," and would have totally regretted it.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be something in there, right? It's got to be a monster of some kind.
Well, or it's just to make you think that there's a monster in there, but there's really nothing.
To make you turn around and leave?
Yeah, to make you, just to make you freaked out. Like, it's a, what do you call it, a red herring or whatever? One of the, like, a false flat, not false flat.
False.
You know what I mean?
I think I understand. I think it would have worked on me. Had I started to see things move, like big things move, I probably would be like, "You know what, guys? Let's check it out later." Mm-hmm. Or, "You 500, you got to hang back there. Why don't you come up here where it's nice and warm and poke that thing a little bit, see what happens." Now, Richard has to reiterate to them that even though he's a war wizard, he really doesn't know that much about magic. He's never been here before, and he doesn't know how to protect them.
Well, he kind of had to reiterate that, because they were all like, "Wait, what the fuck? You don't know? You
don't know what that is?
You don't know?"
Oh, no, like I wouldn't touch it, but no, I don't know.
You're supposed to be the magic against the magic, my man. What the hell?
Well, in this case, magic is logic, and that is keep your head, hands, and feet as close to your body as possible.
On that fucking stepping stone.
Just happens to be logic. But because he doesn't know how to protect them, he's just going to go in alone.
Oh, that seems logical.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that before with the horror movie stuff. You never separate. Never go it alone. It's not good.
It's always baffling to me. I get. Okay, Richard is the one. Okay, he's the only one who can do this. But he's the only one who can save the world too. So it's just so foolhardy to me to be like, yeah, let's risk him doing these things that he doesn't even know why. He doesn't like.
I think especially when it makes a point to say that you're supposed to be using logic, and the most logical thing would say, hey, don't go it alone because some bad shit might happen, and yet he's consistently going it alone because he's him.
Because he can't risk anybody else.
Yeah.
He's the most important one.
Right, because everybody is just as important, but Richard is like kind of the most important.
Okay. And no, we haven't mentioned it, and I don't think we have like really a lot of places to yet. So the reason that Richard thinks he has to go in there, right, is because he wants to protect the keep in case people try to come in and get it. He doesn't know what's in there that they could get, but he also wants to see what he could use against them.
Yeah, well, I think he knows that there's books in the keep. Zedd told him that, so because he's Richard, he wants as much of an advantage as possible, so he knows there's knowledge in there. So if he goes in the keep, then he has access to shit. Like, maybe he can even find out something about being a war wizard. You know what I mean? There's just useful stuff in there that he wants.
I mean, I get it. It just seems like a fishing mission. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
yeah.
I gotta protect it, but in order to do that, I gotta go in. Instead of just posting some dudes outside the bridge and being like, keep an eye, okay? There's only one way in or out. So.
I'm gonna work on some shit, and they're definitely coming through this door, so you will know first, okay?
Yeah, like, we'll just, like, wait and make sure nobody goes in. But yeah, he's going after the books, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because he wants to.
Yeah.
Not because he has to.
No, he totally could have waited, if that's what you're suggesting.
Yes.
He could have waited, but because there's, like, an army trying to kill him and stuff.
Not actively.
No, not actively, but in general, like, time is running out.
I'm just saying, there are no troops around Edendil right now. He's got some time.
Oh, okay. A normal human being would have time. But we're talking about Richard.
Okay.
A person whose go-to move is to get into shit. So, of course he's
Alright, let's get into shit then.
Well, speaking of shit, Burdine says exactly, you don't know shit. You could get hurt or killed by something that's just not magic in there. Like we talked about, you could be running through the woods, fall and break your ankle, and die just as easily as some weird magic spell. And so that is why we're all coming with you, motherfucker.
Yeah, because it's dumb for you to go in by yourself.
Yeah, we're not going to break the horror movie rule. We're staying together. This is the smart choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like it. Once inside, Richard...
because the door just opens.
Oh, yeah. That's right. It just opens for him right after Richard saying, you know, I don't know how to use magic. I'm not a war wizard. I don't understand this. Then he, like, waves his hand and the door opens. And they all just big ol' eye roll.
Yeah. Well, it also just, again, with the shields at the keep.
Mm-hmm.
The door just like, hey, magic user, come on in.
For security's sake. Yeah, magic user. Automatic pass. All doors unlocked. You roll a 20. But once he's inside, he scratches the rash that's on his neck. We heard just a little bit about at the end of a few chapters ago, I think it was. Kara says, it's weird that the stuff I got you didn't work. I even paid extra to have some special shit put into there, some natural sounding things. Actually, she pays extra and then the ingredients sound more witch's brew like.
Yeah, and there's like a